Jimmy McAlliott found the net. Goal for Wednesday.
Terrific goal by Shayna.
Chris Waddle, is he going to have a crack?
Oh, he does, and it's goal. Still Glenn Wheeler. Aidan Flynn wins the goal. It's the goal.
Is there time for a winner?
Do you know what that new intro song is? An absolute banger, isn't it? Bones by the Sherlocks.
Have you contacted them and said we're using this?
Yeah. I'm, I've regularly speak to, I forget his name now. I speak to him that often.
Oh, you do. You do this when you're on ITV, can't you?
Yeah. Who is it that I'll? Which one is it that I speak? Brandon. Brandon is he's the guitarist. So yeah, I speak to him. Or is he the drummer? He's the drummer. He's the drummer. Speak to him quite a bit, or he messages me like these are normally the messages that I get from him. To be fair, just saying things like, "What the fuck is happening at our club?" Urge on Talksport yesterday, mate. Came across great. Where was the one before? Yeah, he's just
it's that Neil Warnock meme, isn't it? Of what the fucking hell's happening?
Definitely, it's beyond bad. Was another one.
Yeah.
But no, I messaged him just saying the previous intro was the Sherlocks as well. So I was like, yeah, why not? So he says, yeah, any tunes, just send them. Let me know which one you want to use. So I was like, so I had a quick listen to some of the stuff. I mean, it's on the playlist already, but Bones is one of the new songs. And it's hard because you've got to find something that will work in an intro as well. And that one. It does work that one. It's a decent one. Anyway,
can I also, James, just before we move on, Andy, fucking exceptional, mate. Absolutely exceptional. Half an hour into that main show, nearly fucking pissed myself laughing here, spat me drink out, all the things of. If you haven't seen it and you're in the Discord group, please go and have a look at the pod chat. It's fucking exceptional work.
I know. I'd not seen it. I'd not seen it. You told me when we'd finished, and I was like, yeah, that is good. I must admit, I did clock it when I was editing the video together, along with the error that you had at the side.
Yeah. Well, whilst we're on a small screen, you can only just see one of the small little padlocks at the side.
I've not noticed it before. Like I really haven't noticed it. But now I'll never not. Like
now you'll know I'm safe. Yeah, now you'll know I'm safe. It was one of those, mate, where, as you were saying on the main pod, that show was recorded. So I flew back on the Thursday, landed in Bristol, then had to wait for the traffic to clear because there was a 10, 12 car pile up on the M5, drove back, and then I got in, didn't I? I think it was like 9:15 or something. I got in, I just rang you, didn't I? I just went, right, I'm just about to video this. And then the following day, you just went, fucking hell, mate, you look rough.
I said, you look tired. Get some sleep, you look tired. You did, to be fair. Do you know what it were? Because obviously, again, it's pre-recorded. It's funny, because when you do the live, like you don't. I mean, it's different, isn't it? When you're doing it live, you're very different. Kind of where you come across and stuff. When you're trying to read stuff and obviously get it right as well. Like, I mean, I could have done you dirty and published an outtakes. Maybe that's for the maybe that's one for the Patreons.
Oh, just chuck it in the group. There's been some fucking belters in there. Just blah 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 blah.
What me like slapping yourself on the face or something? Yeah. Like, it's funny that you go like a big sigh. But anyway,
I'm so disappointed, James, because I teach drama. I'm so disappointed in myself that I can't I've even got the script in front of me. I couldn't even read the fucking words.
It was good. Honestly, in all seriousness, it was really good. It's been received really well, by many, and I hope it's just, again, like I mentioned on the main pod, I hope someone just takes that and it's like there's something here, and they can just take it to that next level, and kind of uncover
the ring rooms that nicest will in the world we just can't get into.
Yeah, and if
we haven't got access to.
And if this is the start of kind of because obviously he'll be privy to it.
Yeah,
Chansiri. You know what I mean? If this is the start of him being ousted out of the football club, then happy days is all I can say. Yes, we are going to be talking about what's the worst that can happen at Sheffield Wednesday. Again, Andy, with this one, I thought it would be an excellent thing that we can talk about on extra time. So we'll get straight into it. I'll not go into Phoenix Club just yet because, and I don't mean the show that we all talk about, but the thumbnail and stuff. I put small stadium in on Google for the background, and then I went on ChatGPT and just put can you draw me a logo for a new football club, AFC Wednesday of Sheffield. If they use that one, I've no idea. There'd be so many people angry. The fact that like the word Sheffield is kind of like off center and out to the side, then no, that would be a big no. But anyway, we'll get onto that in a bit. I think this is not the worst case scenario, but certainly something that's on the horizon is points deductions. I feel like we're probably going to get them. I know that Kieran Maguire seemed to think that we wouldn't, but I can't see a scenario where we wouldn't be given them, given how many breaches we've had. Like, how many embargoes can you get without then, we were in we've got the 3-window embargo, then we've done it again. We've done like another 30 days, or maybe even 60 days after that. Surely there's got to be like a bigger punishment. You can't just keep adding another window onto the end of the transfer fee ban. But I've seen it in the past, Matt, where teams get a points deduction, but then they get given it the following season. Especially when I think that's normally kind of when a team's already going to get relegated and like they're going into admin, they don't give it them that season, they give it them next season. Do you think there's a possibility that could happen depending on when we get given the points deduction? Because there's no point in just deducting more points from a team that's already, 15 points adrift at the bottom, if you know.
If you deduct 7 from a team that's got 7, it's kind of pointless, isn't it?
Hey, I like what you did there.
Yeah. It's one of those situations, James, where I think the worst case scenario that obviously that they will never ever let you forget about it is Luton Town. And I think when you actually, I obviously I've got a close mate of mine who's a Luton fan. I take the piss out of him constantly. 30 points they were deducted. 30.
Yeah. That was 2008, 2009 season.
And everybody has come out since and said, look, we never want this to happen again. We never want this sanction, because ultimately it not only led to them being relegated, but then also basically having a double relegation on their CV, because they were relegated and then they started the following season on -30. So you already know they ended up in the conference as a result of that, and then stayed there for a couple of years, stabilising, then obviously had that meteoric fairy tale rise all the way to the Premier League.
Just point out, with 10 points for irregular matters involving player transfers, and then 20 for breaking the rules on exiting administration. So,
the latter one, I think you're going to have less of an issue with. This was to do with, I say we're going to have less of an issue with it. Who knows who's going to buy the club, and who knows who's going to be really truly behind the money. That was to do with effectively them going into administration and it being wrapped and packaged up immediately there's a buyer found. Because normally when a club goes into administration, an administrator comes in, they've got to pay off creditors, they've got to pay off all of the outstanding loans, but they also, one of their jobs is to go out and find a buyer for the football club. Now, I know the process after Luton and a number of other clubs has changed, and I must confess I don't know the ins and outs of administration currently. I would look at, I suppose, the situation at Morecambe is probably the closest one that you're going to find, and maybe Reading and some Derby examples, but I know they've even changed it since Derby.
Yeah,
this is to do with effectively a buyout on paper happening, but it not really being a buyout. It's still being linked to the original party who was involved and invested in Luton Town originally. So this is what I believe this has happened. I could be wrong, but the rules and regulations surrounding a club exiting administration has been changed based on the fact of, if you've got someone like Chansiri who says, yeah, I'm going to sell it, no problem. and the second you enter into administration, you've already got a buyer at the door and there's a sale been agreed. That should raise some alarm bells. But 2008, 2006 type of time, it didn't raise alarm bells. Why? Because PSR and administration was relatively new to people with, and I'm not talking about clubs being in financial hardship here. I'm talking about with the money that is available in the game since the mid 2000s, because it has gone fucking crazy, hasn't it?
Yeah, as on the Luton Town website, it says, with the team struggling to find any form and with young players low on confidence, relegation to League Two was confirmed. With new owners set to take full control of the club, the Hatters prepared themselves for beginning their League Two campaign with 15 points deducted for failure to agree to a company voluntary agreement. However, the Football League decided that because the club had been in administration for the third time in 9 years, they will punish them further by deducting a further 5 points. So officially they are given a different story, but anyway, it was a massive points deduction, weren't it? Really, we could be relegated before we've even kind of started, really. Like, irrespective of kind of how many players we've got and how many wins we're going to get and how many points and stuff like that. Like because I feel like with it again, it's with the EFL, they have. I feel like we might be being made an example potentially as well, with the points deductions. Again, I know people have said that we're not going to get them, but I feel we could be given. My honest, I feel we're going to be 9 points deducted. I feel. I don't know how they would divvy that up, but like 6 for one and 3 for something else. I've no idea.
Yeah, I think 12 potentially reduced to 9 on appeal, because this would be the second time since 2020 that we've been in administration. Not administration, but had the embargoes, because obviously we had the 6-point deduction previously. It would be interesting to see what because they won't get the points deduction in before the start of a season, and they won't get a points deduction in before a new owner comes in. Now, it would be interesting to see what an independent football regulator's stance on this all is, because an independent football regulator, if you listen to Clive Betts' side of the argument, the MP who has pushed this through and will have certain ideologies about the powers that are in play, is don't punish the clubs. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Reading haven't started this season with a points deduction.
No, I don't believe they have. No.
So it would be really interesting to see what the EFL do in terms of, are they going to put further sanctions in place? Because it does feel that there has been, in particular since, I'd say Derby really, there has been a lot more pressure to actually punish clubs who are manipulating PSR rules or financial fair play rules, more so than clubs that have fallen on hard times, quote unquote, such as Sheffield United. Sheffield United were punished because of all of the irregularities that they had going on, but it was basically due to financial mismanagement, wasn't it? That was the reason why they were given a points deduction. Now, the scale of how financially mismanaged Sheffield Wednesday has actually not been trying to cheat people out of money. It's just going, no, fuck off, I'm not paying you. It's not. There's no black and white. There's no trying to cover it up. It's just, nah, fuck off, I'm not paying you.
Yeah, that's the problem with the rules, and the rules are there to stop people exploiting loopholes. The problem where it falls down is, more often than not, people fall foul of these rules because they've just simply ran out of money.
Yeah.
So there is no kind of, they're not paying the players. That's not trying to well, I'll not pay them this month and I'll pay them twice next month. So that means I've got money here that I can put there and did it whatever else, and have an unfair advantage. It simply haven't got any money. So so you just keep getting smashed over the head constantly because you just can't pay, and then you get one and you get another. But the reason why they're there is, like I said, to stop people doing it kind of willingly, and then trying to find a financial leg up in some way, shape or form.
Because on that point, James, just going back to that, there is no argument here to be had that Sheffield Wednesday have benefited in any way from this financial situation, is there? There's no argument, none whatsoever.
Other than Amadou.
Potentially. Other than Leicester, there is clear benefits to the way in which that they financially mismanaged themselves whilst they were in the Premier League and then whilst they were in the Championship. Aston Villa, Bournemouth, all of these clubs manipulated the system to, they hedged their bets on them being promoted. Like Aston Villa was a lot more harem-scarum than Bournemouth. Yeah. But Wolves did it as well. They all manipulated the system within the Wolves in particular at the 3-year window, didn't they? They manipulated it.
Yeah, 1 year here, and then the next 2 years I'm not going to be here. So actually, that over the 3 years, we're all right.
Yeah, exactly. So you've manipulated and you've hedged your bets. I know Forest did something similar. All of these clubs that have clawed their way out through the trapdoor and got themselves there. But we haven't tried to manipulate this for any sort of financial or footballing gain. We've manipulated the system by just saying, fuck it, we're not going to follow it. Like, that's the only way it's been manipulated, is just, bollocks to that.
Because also, what's point giving a team a points deduction that's already at the bottom of the league? Like, it's not serving anything. It's just a waste of time. Like,
and also, James, sorry to cut you there. The other thing that we're not going to do is, let's say, 90% sure that we're going to get relegated this season, is my personal opinion. You're then not going to hamstring a new owner the following season with a points deduction for something that they have sorted.
Yeah, because it doesn't. That could potentially deter maybe a new owner coming in if they've got that hanging over them, like a points deduction for the following season. They're going to be like, what's point? I'm now buying a League One club, for example. I know we are going to be down there just because of the whole situation, but we could have had a decent squad, and just this could still be happening. It's just all come tumbling down. Matt, do you think there's a possibility? So in the current scenario, so we're in the Championship at the moment. We haven't got many players. We feel like we're going to get relegated. Like, do you think there's a situation where we could get a double relegation and we could end up, down in League Two if, Chansiri is still here? He's not sold the football club. He has got us to this level where, the wages are a lot lower, to a point that's, I don't even think he would get this far, but say he's got to a point where he can manage. He can just buy, like, just pay the players and pay the staff and just get by, basically. No sort of investment into the football club or anything like that. Do you see a point where we could just end up falling through the league? So, or do you think
yes is the honest answer, James. Bolton ended up in League Two before all of this mess got sorted out. Luton at the conference, Portsmouth, Sunderland were lucky in terms of, I know they were not lucky at the time. They had some horrible ownership, and the Sunderland Till I Die documentary put it on full view that they are not a lucky club. What is to say, if we're at the Championship, which for the last 25 years is as high as we've been, League One is, in my opinion, is an almost nailed on certainty for next year. Do I think that a good League One campaign is all of a sudden incoming when you've got another 12 months of proof that this owner can't fund it, assuming he's still here? Players still aren't going to want to come. A manager, Chansiri will have pissed off Henrik Pedersen by that point, and Henrik will have gone or walked or whatever. What coach is going to come and want to work? You're in exactly the same situation, only you haven't got the star pulling power of we're a massive club in League One anymore. You just haven't got it. So it then becomes, oh shit, this is going to be a lot harder than we thought. Because we all watch that League One season. Teams come to Hillsborough, and because it's a big stadium, and because there's 3 sides that are open and like a 20-odd thousand fans in there weekly, it's everybody's cup final.
Yeah.
It's everybody's cup final. It is. It doesn't matter. It'll be like Cardiff this year. Cardiff aren't as big a club as us, but it'll be like Cardiff this year. Cardiff started like a house on fire. But Birmingham City fans, speaking to them now is a fucking different kettle of fish. But speaking to them last year, they finished on a record points total for the division. But you fucking spoke to them last year and they were like, oh my God, everybody comes and they just sit in behind the ball. Like, they don't want to attack us. All they want to do is just get a point.
We had that in League One, didn't we? Yeah.
But we had the players to get out of it. and we had a manager to get out of it. 12 months down the line, if Chansiri's here, I would wager on we haven't got that anymore. So what then?
Well, that's it. Like, the players that we've got now, if they're still here, you might think you were talking on the main pod about, like, we've got half decent first 11 for the championship, be more than capable in League One, but they won't be here, will they? Like, no. Those players won't be here at all. I look at Bradford. I know they've now got out of League One. I was looking, actually, I'm thinking, how long have they been down there?
League Two.
No, they're in League One now. They've got
yeah. Sorry, I thought you said they've got out of League One. Sorry,
no. They're in League One. They got out of League Two. In my head, they've been in League Two for fucking ages. I've just had a look now, and the reason why I thought that is because they got promoted 2012-13 season. So that was what the season after we came out of League One. So that's why we didn't
Pass
see
never
them.
Crossed. Yeah.
And then obviously when we get relegated, they get relegated in the 2018-2019 season. So so by the time we go down to League One again, they're not there. They're in League Two. So it's in my head, they've always been down there. I mean, they have been there for 6 seasons on the bounce, and they've just managed to get out. But they're a team that I look and I think, again, not as big as Sheffield Wednesday, but still a fairly big club, in the Premier League. Had Carbone playing for them at one point. They were decent, and that is a fear. There's a Liam says League Two is my fear. We've never been in the 4th tier. Yeah, and I really hope that we don't do that. But there is that point of what sort of squad is going to be made up. When we were down in League One before, you mentioned it. We were able to build a squad good enough for League One. And I think just the whole stature of the football club allows you to do that. But when you haven't got any money at all, what are you going to be bringing in?
No, I agree. I think the one thing that I would say is a positive, Liam. I think with your ticket priority points, I don't think you're going to struggle for an away ticket in League Two. But it is.
You could tick it if you're doing the 92. You could tick a few off, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could. The other thing that I would say, James, here is, if you look at the Bolton example of when they went from League One to League Two, Bolton going from League One to League Two, Bolton were a European club far like mid 2000s. They were a Premier League club up until the 2010, 2011, 2012 type of time.
Yeah.
This happened to Bolton gradually over a period of time, but they didn't get it sorted to get out of League One, and that was when did players refuse to play for them in the Championship, or was it the League One? Because I remember them playing Brentford. We had Preston away. It was when Ati Nuyu scored, and we won. We drew 3-3. Steve Bruce was in charge.
18-19 was where they got relegated at the Championship, and then 19-20 was the season that.
So the following year. So that's what I mean is you've had 2 years of really just an owner digging their heels in, like Phil Gartside just dug his heels in. I am not accepting any less. I am not accepting any less. No, I am not. And then it was sold to another idiot before the current group who own Bolton actually got hold of them when they were in League Two.
Yeah,
built a competitive squad, got out of it, all the rest of it. But remember that stadium, mid-2000s, was watching Sergio Aguero playing for Atletico Madrid take on Gary Megson's Bolton Wanderers. Like, again, I only know this because I've got a number of Bolton supporting friends. They're nowhere near the size of the club that we are. But if you're a player, and especially a young player nowadays, a young player is going to look at Bolton and potentially go, oh, I've watched them in Europe when I was a kid growing up. What the fuck are they going to know about Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, I know. I mean, to be fair, one of their former strikers is now our manager. So, but it's mad. You look at it, Yuri Jokayev, JJ Kocher. I was looking at Nicholas Anelka.
Stuart Holden, Daniel Sturridge, Jack Wilshere, Gary Cahill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just reading off the top goal scorers.
There's a number of really, really top end players that have gone through that system, and the speed at which they've dropped. Yes, it's been over a decade. Yes, it's been this, but now, for anybody who watched the Stockport Bolton game that was on earlier today, they're stuck in League One, can't get out. They missed their opportunity in that first season, their second season. So when they played Barnsley in the semi-final, they're stuck. They're in a rebuild currently, Bolton. Like, they've had a huge squad cycle. Schumacher came in last year. Ultimately, Steven Schumacher will get it right at League One, but it ain't going to happen this year. They can't score, and they haven't got a central midfield. They are going to struggle, and they are going to be there for a while. And when you speak to Bolton fans, again, I know a number of them, they will tell you, we want playoffs and we know we should be there, but I don't know whether the squad is good enough to get us there. And that is the danger of what happens when you do drip, like as Liam was suggesting, League Two being your fear. When you dip that far down, you've got to do an awful lot of squad cycling on the way back up, because players for League Two, brilliant, they'll get you out. Edit and kick it, Ben Enigan merchants.
Yeah.
There's very few George Byerses who will drop from a Championship to a League Two club and then go with you back up through. There's very few of them.
Callum Patterson.
There's one. But there's.
But just looking at Bolton, they had a mad period there. 6 seasons, and they had 3 relegations and 2 promotions, and the only other season they finished 21st. Yeah. So literally just bouncing around, and they've had 4 seasons now in League One, got playoffs twice, still not managed to get out there, and that is a distinct worry that we are going to then become a little bit stuck. And you can say we're a big club and all this, that, and the other, as we just mentioned, Bolton, you UEFA Cup twice,
Portsmouth as well.
Yeah, exactly. I know they've put Portsmouth for. They're in League One now.
It's their second season in the Championship.
Oh, yeah.
Just let that sink in. They spent a long time in League Two and League One not being able to get out.
Yeah.
And watching dog shit, like watching genuine dog shit on the pitch.
Yeah. Now, this next one, Matt, is it a part of you that thinks that the club could actually go out of business? Because, but I mean, everyone keeps saying, Chance, it's his club. He does whatever he wants with it. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. If he just decides, because this is what's happened at Morecambe, isn't it? The owner has just literally just gone AWOL.
Yeah,
he's just done one. He's just not replying to anyone, not saying anything. And now they've actually ceased. Well, they haven't ceased. They've actually, as from the start of this month, they've just stopped all operations at Morecambe. I think they've already been kicked out of the league or suspended.
Yeah, players have told them. Players have been told to stay away.
Yeah, so nothing's happening at all. But that's because the owners has simply not sold the football club. Which when I think about it, it must be more difficult than this. I just think just give it away. Like, surely someone would just take it for nothing. It must be more difficult than that. But there is a small part of me that thinks, because he's a nutter, Chansiri. There's no 2 ways about it. Like, I think he could actually do that. He could actually just not sell the football club. And I don't know would he get pressures from elsewhere? Again, no disrespect, but Morecambe, much smaller football club than Sheffield Wednesday. Not in the football league as it currently stands at the moment. I know that shouldn't really make any difference, but a massive club like Sheffield Wednesday, would that be allowed to happen? Like, but it clearly doesn't respond to any sort of pressure. Deadpon, like he's had lots of pressure recently, but he doesn't seem, he's not really giving into that. I don't know. Could he just? I mean, he could just say, "I'm not selling the football club," but I don't know.
I think it's still because of how much has happened in such a short space. It's still less than 100 days since Watford.
Yeah,
and the amount that has happened in that amount of time. It's like genuinely, it's like a Jenga tower, like where one thing has been pulled and it was the manager saying he wants to leave. And before you know it, the entire fucking deck has come tumbling down around him. The reason why I think he will ultimately sell has got nothing to do with what anybody else will say. I honestly think it will be his kids. We were talking about Elsie and we were talking about Wilf and we were talking about the Bannon family and all of that emotional pull. His kids have been in this growing up.
Yeah.
And I think underneath all the layers of fucking shit and all the rest of it, if push came to shove, he would sell it. The other reason why I would say that there is going to be a sale, James, is because there will always be a market for this football club. I don't want to disrespect Morecambe here, but it is going to come across like I am massively disrespecting them. Morecambe is not an attractive proposition. Unless you're a nutter like Ryan Reynolds and that lot were who took over Wrexham, you're not going to look at Morecambe and go, I want that. Unless you're a fan, very similar to what happened with Oldham, you're just not going to. Unless you're a fan of the club, you are not going to do so. With Sheffield Wednesday, because of the size, because of the history, because of the fan base, because of the potential and the stadium, there will always be offers on the table. Now, whether they are offers of like reasonable value or unrealistic value, there will always be an offer there for you to take some level of money out of this football club. There will. It might not be what you want, but I would go back to the fact that we are only 90 days into the chairman admitting, and it's probably less than 30 days since that broker was actually appointed.
Feels like a fucking lifetime.
It does, doesn't it? It does. But we are still really early in him coming to terms with, I've got to sell this. Because we've heard so many, we've heard so many different people say one of the biggest steps for him is realizing he can't take this any further. And we know how stubborn he is. That is going to take an unrealistic offer, which I heard somebody the other day, somebody who, it was on X, you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember the name. They were talking about, he wants 150 million for it, just crowdfund it and we'll just pay it and blah, blah, blah. And it's 150 million's a snip for how great we're all going to feel about it and all the rest of it. Now, whilst that is wonderful, if I was putting my money in, I'd be saying, you're not paying anything over 40.
Yeah.
This club is not worth more than £40 million. I don't give a fuck how much I love it. And I would, unless I won the Euro Millions, and even if I was sat opposite Chansiri, there would still be a small part of me that would be going, oh, fucking hell, I've got to save it. I've got to save it. But there'd also be a part of me going, I'm not giving you 100 million. No way.
Well, the other thing, when you buy it and you buy the stadium, we're all talking about the North Stand. Let's not beat around the bush. Like the Kop isn't exactly in pristine condition.
No, neither's the Lep.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's probably even worse. It's the only fact that by only we don't sit there that actually it's not as much of a concern to the home fans, if us fans that go to Hillsborough. But yeah, let's actually, I'm just going to bring this picture up. So for those that are watching, this is when he took over. You can tell that 'cause he's got the old badge, and you can tell it's got the TUF branding behind.
Azerbaijan Land of Fire.
Yes, for those that are listening, it is a picture of Depon and his family when he took over. And bring your attention to who is now graduated from?
He's just finished his first year. His daughter's graduated, the one to the right of him.
Yeah, but At looks about, he would be 8 years old, 7 years old at that point there, at the same age as my eldest daughter. And then now he's pushing a gondola in Venice.
But James, that is the reason why he will sell this football club and why I'm always going to have, because I mean this nicely, no matter how much your dad might chuck into Morecambe, you're not going to get that buy-in at Morecambe unless you've raised like this. Bear in mind, up until this summer, every Sheffield Wednesday fan has sat glued to their phone watching for updates from Chansiri.
I think he's blocked me,
Fine for him. Unlucky for him. But if you look at him, in January, we knew the Ibrahim Sissoko deal was going through. We knew the Stuart Armstrong deal was going through. We knew all of these were going through. Why? Because of him. He is, no matter what people like to think of his dad, he is a Sheffield Wednesday fan. Yeah. And he will be. He may have particular feelings that are always going to be difficult to square away with this football club. But he is a Sheffield Wednesday fan. There is no two ways about it. Why? Because he went to games as a young lad. Now, that is the threshold for most fans of like, oh, are they a real Wednesday fan? Did they go to games when they were growing up? Yes,
my dad took me. That is what most people say, and that is exactly that. Why are you a Wednesday fan? Well, my dad bought the football club, so that's why I am. But yeah, that you're right. Let's move on to the Phoenix Club, not that one.
It's the Phoenix Club. Pull off into paradise.
What a fantastic series, of course. But no, if the worst was to happen and the club did go to the wall, and there was, I mean, it doesn't have to go to the wall for a Phoenix Club to be born. You know, when you look at the most successful ones, it was mentioned on the Trust Q&A session that they had. Yeah, Wimbledon is a prime example. They decided to move however many miles away and relocate to Milton Keynes. So AFC Wimbledon was born. There's FC United of Manchester. That's another one that kind of springs to mind. Yeah. Again, that's not one where the club's gone to the wall at all. You know, that's just unhappy with the way that Manchester United has been run. So they started their own club as well. Bury, AFC Bury now. Bury did go to the wall. They are one that has, gone out of business and stuff. Darlington, because I know they went under.
Leighton Orient as well, I think, went out as well.
Right. Okay. I don't know if it is a Darlington one or not. That is mad, that one, by the way. And when you look at that stadium that Darlington had, if you want a bit of light reading, or just look up Darlington and the stadium that they had and everything else. It's like the Doncaster. It's the Donny Stadium, but bigger, I think, as well.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Mental. Another club that went out of business. I only know this because I used to play Champ Manager when it was Champ Manager before it changed to Football Manager. Don't ask me why. Rushton and Diamonds.
That's the ones, not Leighton Orient. Was it Rushton and Diamonds or Leighton and Orient? There was one of the two. Yeah,
Leighton and Orient.
Leighton and Orient. Yeah, Leighton and Orient. Rushton and Diamonds. Sheffield and Wednesday. There's your Phoenix Club name.
Sheffield and Wednesday.
Sheffield on Wednesday. There we go.
That was going to be a question, actually. I was going to ask you. I'll come to that in a second. Well, Leighton Orient were founded in 1881, so I don't think it was.
No, not gone out. It was. It's Rushton and Diamonds. Then, yeah.
This is up there with your Joey Pooty playing for Arsenal or whatever you said.
Actually, fucker. Yeah. Brentford. Yeah, Brentford. Brentford, that's the fucker.
Someone brought it up the other day, actually, in a message. He says he still haunts him, that one. And I'm like, and my reply was, I knew you were wrong, but you said it with such conviction. And I even brought you back on it, and you said it again. I was like,
yeah, no, I did.
I was like, fuck, maybe I'm wrong. I'm like, I'm not wrong, but it had gone by then. I was like,
did he go to Brentford B for a trial or something? Not this summer, not this time that he's been released, but I'm sure somebody was at Brentford B for a trial. Somebody will be able to answer it in the comments.
Joey Pooty Brentford bound on Al's Talk. Yeah, I think so. Not with us. Sheffield Wednesday boss waits for a solution after young Al linked with Brentford. Sheffield Wednesday manager Cisco has confirmed that young winger Joey Pooty is not with the team at present. He been suggestions online that he may have turned out for Brentford B in a recent friendly.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's where it's come from. But no, Rushton and Diamonds was a team that I always used to play as on Football Manager, Champ Manager. Nene Park is where they is their ground where they used to play. They're only founded in 92 and they went out of business in 2011. But so
burn bright, candle that burned very bright. But the stadium is bonkers, isn't it? The stadium is bonkers.
Well, that's for Darlington, yeah. But Rushton and Diamonds, there is a Phoenix club of Rushton Diamonds, AFC Rushton and Diamonds.
Yeah,
apt. Yeah, just that seems to be the trend. Just stick AFC at the start, and then it's kind of not the actual original club. It's a Phoenix club. They're playing the Northern Premier League Division 1 Midlands.
Yeah. Cool.
Wherever. Right, let's get onto the thing. I mean, it's not as straightforward, is it, as just let's just make another football club. It
No.
is very, very difficult, I guess. I mean, the first thing is where are we playing? Do you know what I mean, like genuinely, where are you going to play? The obvious answer would be Don Valley. Well, that's not there anymore. I mean, I suppose you could play at that other one, but then if the club did go out of existence, you would literally immediately have 20. You'd at least have 10,000 fans straight away, immediately.
Yeah.
If there was no, if Sheffield Wednesday had finished, they've gone. They're not there anymore. You would have, I'd say, 10,000 fans straight away supporting the new club. I mean, I suppose there is an element where do people just then go and support Sheffield FC? I don't know. There's already a football club there already. I don't know if that would happen. I mean, it's so hard to think about, isn't it? Like, it really is.
Genuinely, James, honest answer is I don't know what I'd do. Because a Phoenix club is not the club that I support, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, it would.
Yeah.
The club that I support has been built up over a lifetime, and whilst I'd want to show support for a Phoenix club and for people who have clearly spent a lot of time, you know, like whether it be people at the trust, whether it be, say, for argument's sake, yourself said it, or whoever it was, I'd want to show support. I genuinely don't know whether I'd ever have the same feeling.
Yeah, you go to a few games when you're trying to get back into it, but then you'd be like, it's not the same.
And that's for a person who doesn't mind change. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not fussed about change, like I never have been. This is like, I genuinely, I don't think. I think my honest answer to this, James, when you'd put this in kind of like the notes for earlier, I'd watch football. I don't think I'd support a team. Like, actually say I'm fully in on this. Like, I don't think I'm, because it's not my choice. Like,
I was just going to say the same thing. Would you just become some sort of generic football fan? And you have other things, you know, golf, for example. You probably get more into golf than, you know, spend all your weekends playing golf rather than, not that you don't already, but you know what I mean.
But there's a huge hole, isn't there? There's a huge hole that opens up.
Yeah. It's just hard to think about, isn't it? It really is difficult to think that, you know, what if Sheffield Wednesday wasn't here? Can I just bring your attention to this, by the way? I've been AFC Rushden and Diamonds. I can't believe what I'm reading here.
Right.
They played their opening season at Kiln Park, the home of Roans Town, in 2011-2012, and subsequently shared the Dog and Duck ground with Wellingborough Town.
Like it. but
the Dog and Duck, that is my go-to pub team, is the Dog and Duck.
I think the other thing is, James, with it is, I know everybody has their variation of this, but I'm just thinking of this from a purely selfish point of view. Because I don't have the emotional or family attachment to a Phoenix club, and because it's been ripped away from me, I don't know whether I'd keep the emotional and family attachment to the city and wanting to travel 2 hours up a motorway. And I know people come from further, and I know people do lots more, and genuinely it should be commended. I genuinely don't think I'd want to do it to begin with. Like, I might force myself to do it for like a season or 2 seasons or whatever. And that feeling there'd always be a pang of, well, this is better than not having a club.
Because nothing of it would be the same, would it?
No,
like absolutely nothing. The badge is different. I mean, the only thing that would be the same would probably be the colours.
Yeah, and you'll have Wednesday in it somewhere.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Wednesday, maybe have Sheffield in it as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, they'll play somewhere different. The players are different. They haven't any history, you know. Because AFC Wimbledon are different, aren't they? I'm sure they were allowed to. So AFC Wimbledon have the history of Wimbledon, don't they?
Yes.
So they're slightly different. Whereas, like, you know, if Sheffield Wednesday went out of business and a new club started, you can't say, well, we won the League Cup in '91, because they didn't.
No.
again, the stadium will be different and all stuff. I mean, on one hand, there's one part of me. Again, I don't want it to happen, but if it was to happen, I'll be very curious as to, AFC Wimbledon, not even a big club, and they've shot up into got as high as League One.
Yeah.
Where could where could a Wednesday Phoenix club actually get to? I feel like they would start fairly high up just by virtue of how big the football club would instantly be. I'm not saying they're going to start in League One, but they're not going to be like in step 10, for example. They would be.
I don't know, James. Bear in mind, Wimbledon are the most successful Phoenix club ever.
Yeah.
Genuinely, if you also go back to what really propelled Wimbledon is the fact that they got some really big blue chip indie sponsors on board, Football Manager being one.
Yeah. Sports Interactive or
Sports Interactive, and they got all of those, and they got the press of it because of the story.
I remember being right annoyed that on one Football Manager game, all the backgrounds were AFC Wimbledon. Yeah. No matter what team you were, the background was always them and their ground and stuff. And I was like, I'm not managing Wimbledon.
I'm not managing Wimbledon.
I don't think you could actually manage them on the game because they weren't even at the time. You couldn't. I don't think he went down to the conference, so they weren't even in the conference at that point. Anyway, by the by.
But let's say you start at maybe not step 10. Let's say you start at step 8 or step 7. How successful? Nicest one in the world. How successful can you be? Because you need money to do so. You need money to be successful. Who is going to come in and buy that? No one. Who is going to come in and pump money in? Fan ownership. And this is something that, we may end up talking about, James, surrounding Sheffield Wednesday, which is bonkers to think. Fan ownership can sustain a football club for so long. It can't sustain it. In my opinion, it can't sustain it long term because the business of football now operates on who's got the deepest pockets. It's not a game anymore that can be run off the pitch by fan ownership alone. If you want to be successful, don't get me wrong, Luton are fan controlled and fan owned in theory, but actually there is a lot of really significant, serious money behind them. Yeah. Yes, they've got to the Premier League. Yes, they're now falling back down the leagues. But the point is that they have had serious financial backing and investment, and they've got the history. If you're a Phoenix club, AFC Wimbledon are currently League One, aren't they? They've just been promoted. They played Luton on Sky on Friday. Just been promoted back into League One.
Yeah, via the playoffs. Yeah.
If they stay up, miracle. Where then? How long does it take for them to become sustainable in League One? And then start to push towards the top end of it. You're going to need serious money to start knocking on those doors. And that's where, from a fan ownership point, if Sheffield Wednesday were, let's say, a miracle happens, the trust and a number of other Sheffield Wednesday fans get together, you have £50 for one share, you can buy an unlimited amount of shares in the football club, dependent on how many £50 you put into the football club. That will be sustainable for 1, maybe 2 seasons. Because guess what's going to happen after 2 seasons? You're going to need some more money. And then guess what's going to happen after that? You're going to need some more money. And before you know it, you go around knocking on people's doors for more funds and trying to fundraise. Guess what? It don't happen.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at AFC Wimbledon then. So they started in, I want to say it's the 9th tier.
Yeah.
Because they've had 7 promotions now and 1 relegation.
Yeah.
They finished 3rd in the Combined Counties League Premier Division. And that was 2002-2003 was the first season. They had 3,000 fans that first season, and it's always been above 2. Then they went up as champions twice, so double promotion. Then they stayed there for 3 seasons and went up via the playoffs. Then went up again. So 2008, 2009 they were promoted as champions out of the Conference South.
Uh-huh.
They were in the Conference National for 2 seasons. Then they got promoted via the playoffs. So now they're in League Two, 2011, 2012. And then they stuck in League Two for quite a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. Then they went up via the playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons in 6 seasons in League One, then got relegated, and then they've for 3 seasons down in League Two, and they've come back up again. And the average attendance last season was 9,745, but it's taken 22 years to get to that point. So there is an element of 35 years old. If the same thing happens, just to get to a similar sort of level as where we are at the moment, you're looking at another 20 odd years time. And you're right, like, it gets to the point where you do plateau off, and the amount of investment needed just starts to skyrocket, doesn't it? A pub team needs a couple of £100 for a kit and a bit, you know what I mean?
And some rope around to stop supporters going on a pitch. Yeah.
When you get to that certain level, but then obviously it starts going up and up. You've got to start paying the players and all stuff like that. And the only thing that would help it is there's certainly an appetite there. I want to apologize to Craig, because he's just joined. Craig, thank you for joining Patreon. Do really appreciate it. And obviously he's getting involved in the comments and stuff. I can't see the comments on Patreon. You have to comment like people have done over on the YouTube on YouTube itself. So when you're watching the stream, click like the title, and it'll take you to the YouTube app, and then you can watch it over there. George has come up with a name, Real Wednesday. I'll come to them in a second. I just want to read some of Craig's messages. People look at Real Bedford, £4.5 million investment. They got that investment in step 4. AFC Wednesday would be profitable, cheap, and easiest way to make money. One thing he did say, just on the kind of, would you support that club? He said what did he say? I follow an on-league team, and after a while, you start to care, is what Craig says, Matt.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. And you try telling a fucking Wimbledon fan it's not his club. I'm sure they are.
That is different though, isn't it? Really, because.
But the question is, James, is it really, or is it just because of the publicity? Because they were also attached to Franchise FC. Is it any different to Bury?
Well, I suppose because if you move Sheffield Wednesday, I don't know how many miles they moved them away, but if you move them 100 miles away, I'm 100 miles away now from Sheffield. I think it's a bit different for you, because if you move Sheffield Wednesday 100 miles
principle.
Away, it's the same as them not being there. And if you speak to Wimbledon fans, MK Dons do not exist. Do you know what I mean? So I suppose it is. I suppose it is the same in that regards. Maybe I don't know.
I think it's just, and again, it's because of how high profile a case Wimbledon was, and then subsequently what happened. Because Wimbledon as a club, I know Wimbledon fans will hate this, still exists. It's just 30, 40 miles up the road in Milton Keynes. Yeah. So actually the club itself, because fans, how do you think Milton Keynes got their first couple of fans? It was fans going with Wimbledon to Milton Keynes going, I'll just go because this is my club now. And then they'll have subsequently fucked them off and gone back to AFC Wimbledon properly. But if Sheffield Wednesday goes out, they're exactly the same as Bury. They're the same as all of it, Rushden and Diamonds, or Leighton and Orient, and all the others that we've mentioned. They're the same as all of those in the sense of it's just another casualty. Don't get me wrong, it's a humongous club for it, and it would be hands down the biggest football club for it to happen to. But it is just another one that you add to the list.
That list includes Bury, Darlington, as we've mentioned, Wimbledon FC, but I'm not going to buy that one. Halifax Town, Hereford United was in what year was that one? 2014. That was Macclesfield Town was another one. Is that the one that Robbie Savage?
Yeah,
he's kind of brought them back. That was 2020. That was Maidstone United. They were the team that beat Ipswich, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Yeah. So, oh no, that was.
Hey, Craig's here. Finally found YouTube.
Yes, Craig. Thanks. Yeah. That was back in 1992. That one. Scarborough FC is another one. Yeah, because they're now AFC, and Chester City as well. So there's not. That's the thing. There's not many, is there? There's not many clubs that's happened to.
No, I think the idea of a Phoenix club is, again, it's a very nice idea in practice, and I completely understand why fans race to the idea of it. But my point, again, going back to that, I do highlight that Wimbledon point that you made, and it is such a great point. It's a lifetime. It's a generation. It's not like, oh, well, in 6 years' time, because we're Sheffield Wednesday, we'll be back. No, that's not how this works.
Because you're not starting with anything, are you? You've got literally nothing.
And it's when you get to, because now Wimbledon, remember, went through the conference when the conference was like proper conference. Players were still smoking fags and sinking pints and only training twice a week. Everybody in the conference is now professional. Everybody in League Two is on a good wage. Yeah. Callum Patterson can attest to that, or a wage at least. You have got the pyramid has become so competitive, and if you speak to like those low end football, like the bottom of League Two, midish League Two down to top end of conference players, they will all tell you when you listen to them on podcasts or whatever. They all say the conference is the hardest league to get out of. Conference, you've got 2 spots. It's fucking impossible.
Yeah, it needs changing. That needs changing.
Well, you look at the. I know we're knocking on for time here, James. But if you look at the Welcome to Wrexham documentary, go back to that first season. Yeah. Look at how much had to be pumped into that club.
But what happens though? It kind of makes League Two a bit of a mockery, really, because what happens is they stay there for a couple of seasons, 2, 3, 4 seasons to get out, and they're at the top, and they're just missing out just by virtue of there's just too many clubs that are too good for that league. It makes the National League shit as well, because there's just too many good teams at the top. But then they just propel themselves straight through League Two. So League Two becomes a joke, because it's basically whoever comes up out of the National League will just go straight through into League One. So, and then you've got, because only 2 teams go down, you end up with some really, really shit teams in League Two. So it's just all a bit broken, really. And then now you have got Wrexhams and stuff like that, and people are putting a bit of money into some shit clubs. This thing starts to happen now. But yeah, just quickly then, what names can we throw at this Phoenix club? AFC Wednesday of Sheffield is going to be
AFC Wednesday and Sheffield, not Wednesday of Sheffield. AFC Wednesday and Sheffield.
Yeah, that's one. Or it could just be AFC Wednesday, I guess, could be a name.
Or Wednesday of Sheffield, yeah, like Wednesday. Because it's always going to have Wednesday in. Like, it's always going to have that. I think you're not going to lose the Sheffield, are you?
Would it just be AFC Sheffield Wednesday? Would it just be that?
Probably, yeah. Most likely, that's the one that's going to get the most traction, isn't it?
If the club's gone, then it would just be that, wouldn't it? Because the idea being is that club's no longer existed, and this one is the new.
It's the rebirth club of it. Yeah.
And then the absolute meltdown when they're playing blue and white hoops instead of actually, I mean, we played in hoops when we started, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Imagine, do you know what? We kick off the Chancery and went back to the old batch. Imagine if
we all of a sudden become QPR.
Yeah, I'm sure it's back way, way, way back. Yeah, 9, 8. So yeah, 8. There's a picture of 1867. Oh, my camera's gone off.
Fucking weeks it's lasted.
And do you know what as well? I haven't got another one on this computer. So
thank you very much for listening, all.
You can still hear me. I'm just in the dark.
Pack show behind you or what?
It might be now. But no, we were in hoops for up until 1881. Then we went to quarters, and then we got the stripes in 1890. So anyway, it's a perfect time to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Massive thanks, everyone. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers.